What's up, everyone? It's me, Tapioca Joe, here with another YouTube video. Today I'm actually going to be doing something a little different. This is a previous game I played the other day where I think it's a good example of how I play the game and play for top four when trying to climb the ladder. So I wanted to just go over some what I thought were key moments in the game, explain my decisions as we go, and just make it a little quicker of a format than my previous videos, which are just like entire game lengths, and we're going to see how it's like. So, diving right into it, we have our first real decision at like what item we want. So we end up taking the bow. This is the newest patch. I'm still trying to learn it. Don't know really what is good and what's not great. And so I really like playing snipers, so I went for a bow because I wanted to play sniper. So we end up um, picking up the bow, we get it which we want, and then the next big part really isn't until the augment. We can see we get a hurricane, not the most ideal item to start, not a bad item for snipers if that's our plan. But in our augment, I think this is a really important part of the game where you could argue that it was a misplay to not choose Celestial Blessing, so I end up going with Challenger Heart. And my reasoning for that was like just splashing into challengers at some point with like maybe I pivot to like Kaisa or maybe I find a random Ione or something like that. I don't think it's awful, but also they give you Quinn now, so I thought it was more like I'm a really big player, econ player, and so I love having gold, and that's how I do well. Is when I have a lot of gold, I can win the game. When I don't have a lot of gold, that's where I struggle a little bit more. So I went with Quinn because worst case scenario is I could sell her, I could have a lot of gold, and we could fix all our problems once we have enough money later on. But I did think I fell into a trap a little bit of just playing straight challengers this game. You'll see it ends up working out not horribly because we end up getting top four, like I mentioned. But if you took Celestial Blessing, you could argue that you're being a lot more flexible with the comp that you end up playing. So that was my decisioning for taking Challenger Heart. Um, and we'll go from there. Next, I think big moment is deciding our 2-1 comp. So right here, you can see there's a Warwick in the shop, right? And I've got a Quinn, I've got a Camille, and I've got a Warwick in the shop, right? So a good player would know that that's for Challenger. I, however, do not recognize that. So you can see that we have a bit of a misplay. And I will say too, so I do pre-level here. That's an important part. Or not pre-level, but I do level to 4. And I always like leveling to 4 at 2-1 because again, my main goal is getting top 4. So if I can stay healthy, I can stay relatively strong throughout the beginning of the game with more units, win streaking if possible, then I'm going to do it because I can be as healthy as possible. I'll end up bleeding out, late game if I don't have a great game, I don't find good augments, I don't find my units. But at that point, if I have so much HP, me bleeding out, I might still end up getting fourth or fifth, while the other people who are low, end up taking a bad loss and then that's their game. So, bit of a misplay. We still leveled to 4 because that's what we wanted. And then the next big thing, we'll skip ahead a little bit here, is this next shop. So this is also why we leveled to 4, is we find a Samira. Right? Our 3 cost odds are higher. Samira is a challenger. We can put in 4 challenger. We have a really good carry early game with Samira. She's going to keep us going throughout the early mid game, and we're chilling. So we do end up having to sell this Camille. which is less than ideal because we're giving up a pair to put the Hurricane on her. But we have another one. I recognize that I can put in more challengers now. I put in 5. I don't think it really matters to put in 5. I didn't have any upgrades except for that Ziggs. So, like, is Ziggs really going to be better than just all the challengers getting the bonus attack speed? I don't really know. You could argue probably not. Anyways, so again, we're in a good spot. We get Samira. And right here, you'll notice that I'm actually going to, this time I'm truly going to pre-level. So let's get to it. See, I have 8 out of 10. I use my gold. So I lost econ on this. I don't think 1 gold is important compared to the possibility of the power spike that I could have had from getting lucky and high rolling. So I pre-leveled because my next shop will be a level 5 shop, and there's the 2%, right? 2% odds of seeing a 4 cost. So if I got lucky and I hit Yone or Fiora, I would have been so strong for such a long period of the game. I wouldn't have had to worry at all about losing around because I had 6 Challenger insanely early. And I also had, just, I had some good units. I had Yone or Fiora. I had okay items. I take a bow here. So this is important as well. I take a bow here because I want to make static shiv. I recognize, and this is a problem that I have, so I'll pause it really quick. This is a problem I have. I touched on it a couple minutes ago when talking about the augment. I, here, at this point, probably decided, maybe subconsciously, that I was just going to stick to Challenger. I wanted to see how they worked. It's a new patch again. I don't know, like, if, I know Challengers are good, like, Yone and Fiora are good in this meta. I don't know that 8 Challenger is good, but I decided here that I was going to play Challenger. And again, that's probably too one-track minded, but I was afraid that Challengers weren't great. I knew I was going to stick with them because that's just kind of how I play. Sometimes I get one-tracked and just go with it. So I took a bow because I knew Static Shiv is a really good early game item again. And my goal is to just win streak as hard as I can for as long as I can until I start losing, until other people in the lobby get stronger. So Static Shiv on Samira was going to help me do that. So that's why I took the bow, and we're going to go onward. And we do find a Tark. So Tark is like, I think he started out as an underrated unit, right? Like he's become really good. I think people have realized now that he is a really good early game unit as well because he gives you the socialite hex, which turns out to be in a great spot for me. So I pick up Tark. This is my level 5 board. It's honestly, I think, pretty strong. Quinn 2 is really good. Samira 1 is going to carry me, and we're going to skip over to when we get to Krugs in a minute here. So that way we can see what items we get. We'll skip through it. So I'll pause it. I only pick up a bow. I pick up a lot of gold. Again, we got a good amount of units, right? Like I got a Camille upgrade, a Warwick upgrade, and I have the Quinn. So I'm really strong. This is a decent front line. We've got our challengers still. We've got her on the socialite hex. Again, our plan is just keep win streaking. Level 6, I think personally, unless you're rerolling, should always come at 3-2. And that's because it's kind of like that game acceleration, right? Like I'm trying to stay healthy. It's kind of like agreed upon in high elo that like that's when you're accelerating the game to like that next step. You're increasing your 3 costs, 4 costs odds. So I level up. I can stay at 30 gold because I'm win streaking, so that's really good. I put in a zillion because it gives me clockwork. It's whatever. It's a synergy. It gives me more attack speed for my challengers. Decent unit. We're going. Next part is our next augment. So again, this is a really tough decision for me. I think it could have gone either way with weak spot or knife's edge. And so I end up choosing Knife's Edge because I'm like, again, I'm thinking this is a Yone game. Like, I'm going to play Yone. I'm going to play Fiora. They're going to be in the first two rows. They'll get that bonus attack damage, right? Like, that was my thought. I'm playing challengers. They're all going to go in the front row. So I end up taking Knife's Edge. But again, I think you could argue that Weak Spot is just as good, maybe if not better. Let's see. On to the next fight. So I don't want to show these because I'm winning them. I'm doing what I wanted to do, right? Like I'm winning all the fights. I'm getting what I wanted to do. I'm win streaking. We're on the carousel. We're last pick, so we don't really have many choices with our items. We'll let this just play through a little bit. I end up going for, if you were paying attention, which I'm trying to speed through. If you're paying attention, my Samira had a bow. So we get the tier because we want another Shiv. Again, same thoughts. I'm trying to play for top 4. I need to be as strong as I can early so I can keep win streaking and push some levels, get to where I want to be quick. So now all my extra gold is just going to leveling up. And we're going to try to find the forecasts. We haven't found any. That game plan, I think it was correct. Actually, I know it was correct. It's just we got a little, I don't want to say unlucky because the odds are pretty low in general, but it's just a normal game. We didn't find many forecasts until level 8 when you needed to. So we win streak all the way to Wolves. Actually, nope, sorry. We lost our win streak just prior to Wolves. That guy was really strong with all his upgraded units, the Trundle. And so our front line, that's the problem with challengers. Like our front line just gets demolished. And so we end up losing the win streak here, which is pretty unfortunate. I also want to mention too, it's hard to see with like the title of the video in the way I'll play it. We did pre-level to level 7. Again, we want to try to find our forecasts. So that pre-level in, it's costing me a gold, which in this case doesn't matter. Had I fought in a different player and continued to win, I would have gotten that gold back. But the pre-level I think is still more important than having 1 extra gold. So we get to Wolves, we lose our streak, which really sucks. But again, we're really healthy. You see, we're in 2nd place. Like the lobby, like there's a guy almost dead already. The lobby's pretty, like, they're losing health, and that's good. So we get our items, and immediately I see an IE. So again, I'm thinking I'll sell the Samira, I'll put Hurricane IE on Yone, and we're chilling. Archangels is not great, but we got our shivs, and we've done what we needed to do. So we won a lot. We got pretty far. And so the next big things comes at stage 4-2. I've seen this a lot recently. People leveling to 4-2. And so again, I knew I was really strong. I hit a Samira 2, which is a huge upgrade again. So I went to level 8, in my opinion, 1 stage or 3 stages early, since I think most people will go at chickens or at 4-3, depending on how much gold they have and how much they need to spike. So I went there a stage early. I didn't have a ton of gold to roll with, so I just kept it because I knew Samir 2 at this point is still really strong. Like my board is really good. I lost that one fight, but I don't know that I should have lost that fight, or I should have lost that round to that guy. Could I have beaten everyone else? Most likely, yes. Anyways, I'm strong with Samira 2. I'm going to go to level 8, and I'm just going to try to hope for some forecasts again. I'm still looking for Yonis. I'm still looking for your. And now at this point at level 8, I'm looking for Kaisa too. It requires a little bit of luck, and we're just going to econ. We know we're really strong. We're going to econ and try to win streak again all the way to chickens, which we'll see if that happens. We're going to skip ahead quite a bit. We won all of stage 4. We were picking our item. We go for a vest. I'll go back. We pick up a vest because we're going challengers, so we know we're frontlining, especially with the frontline augment. So we're going to make a locket. And I think it's a misplay, but I actually don't make the locket early enough because I was greeting it until chickens just in case there was something better. But I really think I should have slammed it now. Um, would it have helped us win this fight? No. This guy went to level 8. He has a lot of gold. He hit all his units. So, it doesn't matter. But we were trying to win streak and just econ our way up and then start rolling down once we get past chickens. So we get to this stage. We chose our augment. Oh, let me go back. I missed that. Sorry. um, and so again, I've said it a lot. We knew we were playing challengers. We're gonna frontline. We choose knife's edge, right? Like at this point, this is the only choice we could make. I don't really think we could ever go for celestial blessing, and definitely not stand united because I was just trying to play 8 challengers, which has no synergies. So we choose stand united. We get an extra 65 total attack damage, I think, between the two of them. And again, we're looking for our forecasts. We get to chickens. We roll down a little bit at chickens because I'm not quick enough to use all my gold in one turn like some of the better players are, like high elo challenger players, right? So I roll a little bit here. I pick up a Yone. I get a lot of gold actually. And we're going to do a small little roll down here. I'll show it actually. Sorry, I'll let it play out. It's a small little roll down. And again, I'm not quick, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to waste all my gold. Or not waste, but spend all my gold in the one turn. So I rolled down a little bit just to find that 6th challenger. And we found Yone. And maybe looking for a 7th. We found a Jace, which is not bad. We're taking all the forecasts because we want to help. It's very minuscule. It doesn't really help your odds at all, but I like doing it anyways. Um, and also it helps in other games where you're not really set on your team comps. If you're just buying all the forecasts and like you're trying to play flexible and you don't really know what you want to buy, just buy them all. And if you hit an upgrade on one of them and it's a decent one, like there you go, you got it. So as you can see, I find a Yone, I find a Fiora. So I'll say this: I put the 2 static shivs on Fiora because I assumed I was going to find a Fiora upgrade with 40 gold. And so that way I would have 2-ish carries, right? I'd have Yone and I'd have Fiora. And they'd both kind of be my carries. Again, I haven't made a locket. So definitely misplay. Let's go back. Sorry. Let's show this roll down a bit. So again, we're buying the forecast because I like to. At this point, it's not really helpful because I'm only looking for Yones and Fioras. I bought that extra Yone, just because. Hey, maybe, right? Maybe we'll get a bunch of Yones. Who knows? So I don't hit anything. I don't hit my Fioras. I hit the Yone, so we're like, okay. But this is a good spot to talk about the lobby, right? I've started to fall off. I knew I was going to start falling off, but look, 82 health, 48, 45, and then the next 5 people, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Jesus, I can't count. 4 people, 12 HP or less. They're gonna fight each other eventually. Someone's gonna die, right? I've done my job. I'm healthy. I'm gonna start losing, but these guys aren't healthy, and they're bound to lose one to each other. I finally make the locket before the end of the game, after the start of the round rather, and I start losing, right? Like we can skip through it. I'm gonna lose this round. I'm gonna lose the next round. We hit top 3. I'm sorry, we hit top 4. I think after this round, right? We went from 48 health to 17. We knew we were gonna lose. We were gonna take a lot of damage. That guy dies. Top 4. We did our job, right? That's all I wanted to do. And again, I think this is a great showcase of how to play the game. And here's my final fight. I go through a roll down a bit. Yeah, I'm still looking for Fiora. Um, I end up finding two Yone 2s, and I'm one off Yone 3. So, we just picked them up. Like that was an out. We gave ourselves an out to try and find it. We didn't, but that's okay. But again, we did our job. That guy ended up dying too, so we actually ended up getting third place this game, which what can I say? Like that's how you need to play the games in the instances where you know that you're not going to win the game because your augments aren't great, because you haven't found great units. You need to recognize because you haven't gotten good items, right? Like I did not get great items to start the game. I had 3 bows, a cloak, and 2 tears. What did I do with those? I made static shivs and hurricanes, and I tried to just be as strong as I could, as long as I could. And that's what got us third place. And so I think, again, it's a great game to show how you want to think about getting top 4. We'll pause it there. Um, I hope you might enjoyed this format, the post game commentary. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.